What's up, guys? My name's Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty. It is round 12, yeah, and let's get stuck into all the action. Next week is the bye rounds, or the first of the 3 bye rounds, so it will be interesting to see. I think the teams maybe with the bye next week, they need to leave everything on the park this week. I'm talking about you, Richmond, everything on the line. I mean, we're playing the Gold Coast Suns, but we got to win. All right, let's get stuck in Friday night, which is tonight, of course. Essendon take on the Hawks. Kelly, Jamar, Stokes come in. Crowley goes out with a hamstring. Very emotional send-off there at Subiaco. Bagley out with the knee. And Tippin Wooty has been rested for tonight's game. Oh, I have to change my Supercoach around. I totally just realised that now. And for the Hawks, Littleland, Langford, Pitternet come in. Segler's been suspended. Mitchell is out with some back soreness. And Duray out with a hip injury. So, pretty much Essendon are going to get beaten. I think that they were woeful last week against Fremantle. They lost by 12 goals. I mean, Fremantle weren't even somewhat of a side coming into last week, and for a zip and 10 side, zip and 10 side, now they're 1-10. Now Essendon's 1-10, sitting on the bottom of the ladder. They'll get the number 1 pick, or will they? You never know. They might trade it to someone else, but it'll be interesting to see how they go. I think they're going to get slaughtered tonight by the Hawks. I reckon Sam Mitchell's probably not even that sore. They just wanted to give him a week off. And that's an excuse for it. But the Hawks are going to win this one easy. We know that. So let's move on. Port Adelaide and the Dogs at Adelaide Oval. This is a big game here. No changes for the Port Adelaide side that smashed Collingwood last week. And the Dogs just the one change. Forced change, of course. Honeychurch comes in for McLean. And they beat the West Coast Eagles last week. So both sides coming off wins. Reasonably good wins. And I reckon the Dogs here are a chance. Is it an upset if the Dogs win? Because I think they'd be favourite because they're a top 8 side. But Port Adelaide, they're sort of on the rise and they're in, 9th position. They're probably the most likely side to go into the top 8 at this stage. But I think even they have left their run too late. I think there's so many good sides. Maybe I think there's like a round 23 Adelaide showdown. That could be the deciding match as to who goes in and who goes out of that top 8. But for sure, I'm going the Dogs. Even though it's away, even though it's in Adelaide Oval, I think the Dogs, they can do it. They can do it on the road, and we'll see them do it in a final. But I don't think they'll play away finals because I think they'll be very high up on the ladder. Where are we going next? We are going to Brisbane, and they take on Fremantle. Both sides 1-10 at this stage. Just another game that could be the battle at the bottom of the ladder, and that's what this is. It's in Brisbane. Andrews, Buick, Gardner come in. Jackson Payne goes out with the foot. Freeman's been omitted, and Christensen out with the collarbone. Maybe all those high tackles finally ruined ya, mate. And for the Dockers, Clark, Hannathan, Smith come in. Griffin, Pavlich, and Aitness go out with a couple of injuries there for the Dockers. Now, I actually think Fremantle are going to win this game. They've been in some okay form the last couple of weeks. They only lost to St Kilda in the last quarter. They'd be disappointed with that effort. They were down by 10 points, 3/4 time, lost by like 50 points. And then they smashed Essendon last week. So this is sort of a crunch game for both sides, I think, here. I think if Fremantle win, we'll sort of be like, all right, well, Fremantle, we know that they'll be better next year when they get all their players back. But I think if Brisbane lose this week, this could be the end of Justin Lepich. I think that in terms of for the end of the year anyway, I don't think he'll get re-signed if they lose this match. They would want to win this match, Brisbane, is what I'm saying. The only other match they've won is against the Gold Coast Suns at home, and that was an upset in the least. So they'd want to win this game, the Lions, and that's why I have to pick them then. I have to pick them. They have so much more to play for than Fremantle. They have to win this game. I'm going for Brisbane here in this one. Next game at Etihad Stadium, Saturday night, Geelong and North Melbourne. Big clash, second versus third. Or first versus third. First versus fourth. Something like that. Stanley and Hawkins come in for the Cat. Mullet and Goldsing come in. Dorji, he's just so unlucky, isn't he? And Wright goes out with the ankle injury. But North Melbourne have been in ripping form. Geelong have been super inconsistent the last couple of weeks. It's very tough to call. I think North Melbourne, I've only really had Sydney as their one slip-up so far. But I think Geelong, without Hawkins, who's going to kick the goal? Who's going to be that number 1 key forward down there? Reece Stanley? I don't think so. I as much as I hate saying it, think North Melbourne are going to win this game and they're going to make the top 4. Oh, it pains me. Pains me to say it. But I think they're going to win this one against the Cats. God knows why. I hope Geelong wins, but I'm going to pick North. I don't understand my tipping. West Coast and Adelaide. Here we go. The next game, it's at Perth. It's in Perth, this one. McGovern comes in for Cole for the Eagles. And for the Adelaide Crows, Mackay and Thompson come in for Henderson and Malera. Both been dropped after that big win last week. Now, Adelaide, I had them written off as a genuine premiership chance. I thought that West Coast, Adelaide were sort of the two sides that I didn't see winning a flag within that top 8. But I think that and they're playing each other this week. Fancy that. And West Coast, the reason is because I don't see them winning away games, and Adelaide, I just couldn't see them being as consistent enough or having enough damaging presences to win over a game near the end of the year. Now, I reckon they're going to... Oh, this is a really tough game. I think West Coast... At home, West Coast. That's the only factor you can pick them on anymore, because when they're playing away... I mean, last week was a pretty good effort, but they didn't win. And they average, 5 or 6 more goals at home. They have to work out how they can translate that into a game away. And until they can do that, they're cooked, the Eagles. But they'll win this one. Maybe. Who knows? I'm tipping them to win this one. Next game, St Kilda and Carlton on Sunday. Big changes for the Saints here. Lee, Delaney, Akers, Wright, Sinclair, Minchington, and Pearce come in. Could make his debut, Pearce. And going out... For the Sainers, Dempster with a knee, Goddard with the Achilles, Rewalt with a knee, Paddy McCartan with concussion. It's a lot of changes for them. And for the Blues, Sumner, Phillips, and Jack Silvani could make his debut. He very much could. For the Blues, and they're going to win this one, Carlton. St Kilda, Rewalt, McCartan going out. That makes it very difficult unless Bruce just pops up and kicks 12. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Saints to get over the line in this one. Carlton are on a roll. They'll be 7-5. Oh my God, I have to listen to Carlton supporters. Next game, Saturday afternoon, I'll be there. Richmond and the Gold Coast Suns. Conker, Grimes, Menadue, Short, McBean go into that side. Morris with the knee and Chaplin go out of that side. I expect 3 more players to probably be changed from that squad. I know that there's a number of players listed on the bench that I think Griffiths and Vickery are both listed on the ground, but I think one of them will miss. I think McBean will play. Maybe Vickery might be the one to miss out there. Menadue should come back in as well. Conker's for certain. Grimes is for certain. Menadue and Short, be interesting to see if they come in for a couple of older blokes. We'll wait and see on that one. And then for the Suns, Mackenzie, Day, Thompson, Lemons and Shaw come in, Archie, and Hall was dropped this week. That's more Supercoach havoc for me. So many things I've got to get right here. Richmond will win. I bloody hope so. It's at the MCG. Gold Coast will get better towards the end of the year, but Richmond, they've got to bounce back after last week. I mean, I still don't think they'll play finals, but they've got to bounce back. They've got to win that game. And the second last game of the round is the Sydney Derby 10. Get around it. This one, I think it's an 8-1 lead or 9-2 lead. Sydney over GWS. Maybe it's 9-1. But this one's at Spotless Stadium. It's a sellout. I think the Giants will win. Let's get into the changes. The Giants look like they'll probably have no changes. Maybe Griffin coming into that side. But, and then we've got on the other side of things, we've got Callum Mills, Alir, Dean Towers, Toby Nan, Curvis coming in for Hewitt out with concussion. So into that squad, I think Mills will be the one to play out of those 4 blokes. So, very, very interesting game. This is probably my favourite game of the round here. It's Sunday twilight game. This will be better than Geelong North Melbourne, don't you doubt that, because there's rivalry in this one. It's Sydney versus Sydney, and I think the Giants at Spotless Stadium will show up the Swans. They've been, okay the last couple of weeks away, the Giants. They lost to Adelaide away, they lost to Geelong at the Cattery. I said if they win one of the next 3, they'll make the top 4. They win this game, the Giants are a top 4 side. Mark my words, everyone. I think they're going to beat the Swans, and I think they're going to do it with style. Now, final game of the round, Melbourne and Collingwood. Viney's back? What? I thought he was out for like 3 or 4 weeks. They baited you, didn't they? Mitchie, Grimes, Kennedy also into that squad, and Garlett goes out for trying to fly for a mark that he was about 4 metres underneath. So that was a terrible decision there. And that's probably why he got dropped. No, there would have been a number of other factors, but that was bizarre. And for Collingwood, who goes out? Cloak and Oxley go out, and into that squad goes Marley Williams. Phillips is going to make his debut, I believe. He's on the field listed. Witts, Brown, and Marsh also into that 25-man squad. So, Queen's birthday, big freeze at the G. Big freeze too for MND, of course. And I think, well, Cloak kicked 7 goals last year. Kicked 7-2 or something last year. Or makes it interesting. Melbourne, they get Viney back. They'll probably get maybe Ben Kennedy back if they play him. I don't bloody know. But who can you pick in this one? Both sides have been very inconsistent. Melbourne. Melbourne. That's it. I've had enough. Melbourne, maybe they'll win. I don't know. But I got to pick them to win because I think Collingwood have been useless. But now that I haven't backed in Collingwood, they're going to win. I'm picking Collingwood to win this one. This is how I do my tips. Somehow it works. Sometimes never. It never works. Anyway, that is it. Thank you so much for watching today's preview. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Tell me your tips. And as always, I'll see you guys later.